Hello everyone, I'm Anton64.
I'm the Flameclaw.
And I am Ex-Gamer Richie.
And welcome to the HellfireComms redo of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. We're doing the HD version this time, and it was recorded lovingly or begrudgingly by the one and only Flaming Claw.
It's lovingly. I will say flat out off the bat, this is like my favourite game. So I know when we mentioned we were doing this, people were kind of worried of, oh, like, no, you're going to trash the story and that. No, I love this game. I love this game to pieces. So that's my stance here.
Well, Richie, before I say my piece, what's your opinion on just SA2? Not like in full, just so we have stuff to talk about at the end of the game, but in brief.
Very enjoyable. First Sonic game I ever played, but definitely not the first one I ever beat.
Okay, that's weird. Like, I don't really correlate the two all that often.
Yeah, it's one of those complicated things. I've told the story many times before, but there are certain levels in SA2 where I got stuck and then just dropped it like a lead balloon because I was like, I can't be dealing with this. And it took me, it feels like it must have been about 10 years before I finally got round and pulled my finger out and finished the damn thing.
Jesus, well, to be fair, I was the same with Ocarina of Time, but I like SA2. I just much prefer the first Sonic Adventure game, and I feel time has not been kind to SA2 more so than the first game, because this is a much more linear, sort of classic arcadey experience, where there's no, like, overworld map for you to run about in. It's just, you know, you go from level to level to level. There is a map screen where you can retry levels, but that's about it, really. What the fuck? Why would you transport the world's fastest animal on, like, a very easy to escape sort of, like, attack chopper?
Well, I think their idea there was that if he's in the sky, he can't run away, but that seems to not have panned out quite as well as they were hoping.
Yeah. Oh no, I had no backup plan. I should have at least taken a parachute. Well, here I go!
Yeah, falling head first, that is totally smart, I swear.
My favourite bit of music on the soundtrack, Vacate the Village.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I will say, like, as this game's starting out, it's like one of the most exciting starts to a Sonic game, I think.
Yeah,
like, you haven't got any sort of, like, you know, gentle hill areas, you know, you haven't got, like, a fucking 20-minute cutscene or any of that shit. No, it's just, you get your context and then suddenly, you're running through fucking San Fran. Like,
it's not even like an XB or a copy of it, it's literally San Francisco. Weren't the Sega offices located there at the time?
Yes, they were. They were around this general area, and I forget which ones exactly, but I think some of the areas in this game and some other Sonic games were just named after, like, roads and streets and shit that were around their office buildings. Like, I think Mission Street actually was. I'm not sure about the others.
Okay, so I'm noticing right away this is like a New Game Plus file, because Sonic's all decked out in his, like, optional and mandatory gear.
Yeah, I just figured that would be, like, the easiest way to get the recording down, just so that I can redo things to my heart's content without having to worry about bits and pieces.
So, Richie, what was your first experience playing this level? Were you ready for this kind of speed, the blast processing of the Dreamcast era?
Well, I played this on the GameCube because obviously I'm of that age where Sonic Adventure 1 was a bit older before I'd actually started getting into gaming, and so yeah. This was my first time with Sonic, and I loved this. I loved every second of this level. Like, I think I did have trouble with it because obviously not used to this type of gameplay style, and so I was a bit rubbish.
Why didn't you take the shortcut up there, Flame? I'm disappointed.
Well, you fucking do it then, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, like, riff on the gameplay here. I would have done this, I would have done that. But, yeah, I think, I'm trying to remember when I first played SA2, but, the phrase Pokemon the Third Movie comes to mind, because, it was a sweltering hot summer's day, and I think my mum and I went to go see it, and we were the only people in that particular showing, funnily enough. I know, it's crazy. No one's stopping out for Pokemon anymore. But yeah, I'd gotten a Dreamcast at the time. I forget whether I'd rebought the Dreamcast in SA2, but I feel that was my first time, like, owning the game. And obviously, City Escape blew me away. Sonic is much more acrobatic now than he was in, like, you know, the first game and whatnot. I forget, Flame, did he have, like, a role in the first game, or was that new to SA2?
He had, like, the sort of leading into a spin dash thing, but, like, the somersault here is new.
Okay. Rail grinding, also no. I forget, did Advance 2 do that first, or was SA2 the first console game to have grinding in?
I believe that Adventure 2 was the first one, yeah. It's going to get confusing because they're both SA2, but yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, don't think I didn't see the Phantasy Star Online thing in the background. By the way, Sega is not one to pass up a shilling opportunity.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing with Phantasy Star Online is that back when that was out on the Dreamcast, like, that actually had a demo disc for Sonic Adventure 2, and that was like the first time that us pleb consumers could get a go of the trial version of the game.
Okay.
And that had a few, like, that was just a sort of like short demo thing, like you could play through City Escape and that was it. And that had a few kind of changes between that and the final one. Like, the version of Escape from the City in that didn't have any vocals to it. It was just like the guitar track with a lead guitar standing in for vocals. And that's pretty much the biggest difference there.
It's like the prototype for the Heroes thing, where it's ba 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 da ba ba ba.
It won't quite Johnny Gioeli scatting over the whole thing, but it's, you know, that sort of idea.
Okay, who went ahead and put an OC into my Sonic game? This is disgusting.
Shadow is fucking cool, I don't care.
Well, just because you modelled your entire life after his creed, you know, chaos control is your family's motto, doesn't mean the rest of us have to put up with it. Richie, your take on Shadow the Hedgehog?
He is Shadow the Hedgehog. He's basically just a recall. Obviously, he's gone on to be a little bit more of a interesting character, shall we say, I suppose, in some way or shape or form. But I think it was a cool idea at this point. It's just that then, obviously, as with most Sonic Team games, they don't really know what they want to do with their characters. So, yeah, Shadow ends up being an interesting mess following this game, I feel.
You just don't understand him, that's what it is.
yeah, we're the ones in the wrong here. I got it. I do feel Shadow was at his best in SA2, though I'm not a fan of the story of SA2 compared to the first game, because it's like a government conspiracy. Not to give too much away for this, like, decades-old game. Yeah, this is a new character as well. Tits the Bat, by the way.
Basically, yeah, like, she's there to, you know, pander to a certain demographic.
Yeah, Flames demographic, basically.
Hey, that's not my type, just say it.
Why does the Master Emerald even need to be in this game? Like, I get what function it has towards the end game, but why was Eggman passing through here to begin with? Like, he was following the signal, but why not just get the Chaos Emeralds and stop antagonizing Knuckles for once? You know he's gonna stop you.
And also, why the hell isn't it on Angel Island?
Good question, but like, this is the like obligatory Free and Knuckles throwback of, you know, they were kind of following on from when they did that in Adventure 1 and now they're doing it again here. It's like just ticking the box off at this point.
I think we're meant to assume that like Rouge took the emerald from Angel Island to this place and then Knuckles like caught up and she's like, you just don't let me have my way, do you? He's like, that's what you think, Batgirl.
Like, I swear that is like the same grabby mech from 3 and K as well that Eggman's got there, which is weird given that he doesn't use that anywhere else in this game.
Well, I mean, unless the Master Emerald's part of the boss fight, you know, there's no real point to have that mechanism. Alright, first we had the Sonic levels, later Sonic and Shadow. Now we have something that is a real point of contention for me when it comes to SA2.
Yeah.
The Emerald Shard hunting levels. Now, in the first adventure game, these were fairly straightforward because it had a radar that would pip whenever you were remotely close to like any shard. You can get them in any order. But here they, for whatever reason, the levels are bigger and they set it to a fixed order, which just, for me, it comes out as being a lot more tedious to find the stuff. Like, the levels are fun to run through, don't get me wrong, and Knuckles controls well. I'm not really sure about the music, but hey, it's iconic and catchy at this point. But it's the gameplay part that really bothers me, because it's an unnecessary change. And granted, Flame did that in less than 45 seconds, so what am I bitching about? But I'm assuming that wasn't the first take.
That one actually was. I got lucky with that. But,
Jesus.
like, yeah, I do see the complaints about like forcing you into a certain order. It kind of makes it arbitrarily take longer. It's not a complete deal breaker for me. Like, I can cope, but like I can see what the issue is. I do appreciate that. I think you get like a little bonus if you get them out of order as well. So there's that to balance out. But
I believe it's the bonus if you don't use any of like the hint markers and whatnot.
Yes.
Oh my god, what the hell is wrong with, like, Tails' mouth animation?
I don't know, but Tails right now is just a torso stuck in a plane. That's how his model is at the moment.
Oh my god.
And I like how you can see the tiling on the waves there. Like, it's the same little tile repeated, and like it's such a small sample that it really stands out. Like, I will say the HD port of this game hasn't been kind to it. Like, because it's like the textures are still quite rough, but they've got very sharp edges, which makes the like lower res parts really stand out.
Yeah, very much so, mate, very much so. We'll get to the actual Tails gameplay in a second, but how did you feel this whole mech business suited the game? How did it handle for you, Rich?
It was okay, from what I remember, anyway. I mean, obviously because I'd never played the original Sonic Adventure, I'd never had Tails in any other way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that sudden seismic shift of going, ew, what the hell is this? Which I know quite a few people had with Tails in a mech. And it's fun, it's helpful in that it's different to the rest of the other gameplay styles, but then it's definitely not as good as the Sonic gameplay. I mean, pretty much throughout the entirety of Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic's gameplay is god above all the others. The others just sort of varying levels of okay, depending on the level.
Amy does not need to be in this game apart from the final story. This is ludicrous.
It really is. Like, she's just on this fucking dangerous government prison island sort of shit, just 'cause, you know.
How did she even get past all, like, you know what, whatever, I'm quibbling here. Prison Lane, the first mech level of the game, at least if you're playing, you know, the hero side. It's really cool how you can actually pick whether you want to do hero or dark first. In that regard, it's actually breaking from the linearity of SA2, which I appreciate, but, yeah, I would have to say, apart from the time limit being stripped out, I'm not sure whether I actually like Gamma's gameplay in the first game better than these. It's kind of a toss-up, really. So, in that regard, SA2, I would say the Sonic levels are a bit better, the Knuckles or Emerald Finding stages are worse, and then it's like 50-50 on these levels. So, it's not better than SA1 for me so far, but how did you feel about the mech stuff, Flame?
Well, the mechs in this game, the obvious comparison to make is like the Gamma stages in SA1, and I can see why people go to that, but like I feel there's quite a bit of difference between them, primarily in terms of like the weight of these mechs. Like, you know, Gamma is a lot more floaty, he can move around a bit quicker, whereas this, you know, is very much a slow shooting everything kind of thing. I think they're fine for what they are. I get the contention of Tails being in a mech rather than just Eggman, given like Tails gameplay in SA1 was quite popular. You know, it was kind of like the little brother friendly version of Sonic's levels in that game.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I also know why Tails is in a mech, because like Tails was a very like last minute addition in this game. Because if you remember back to like the E3 2000 trailer, where it was that one where they were really obscuring all the gameplay and it just had all these like light shadows over all the like actual gameplay footage, which kind of defeats the point, you know. But like in that, they were showing that the only characters that were intended to be playable were Sonic, Knuckles, and Eggman. And the others ended up being like filler stages added in at the last minute.
Ah, so it's kind of like the Amigo stages that would be in 06 eventually.
Well, yeah, but like actually fun.
Well, that version never came out, so we can't say for a 100% certainty there. One thing I'll unequivocally say I love about the Tails stages is the music. Some people don't care for this style of music in the game, but I'll give SA2 this. While I prefer SA1's soundtrack, I think SA2 has it in terms of like sheer variety and like styles and genres and whatnot.
Very much like when you think of Jin Sonoe's music, this is like the first thing that comes to mind, really, and you know, like the very melodic-driven like guitar tracks.
Definitely.
Very good.
And I mean,
Flame.
there are a few absolute gems in this soundtrack.
Well, I'd be hard pressed to pick one I don't like. How the fuck did you make it through the... Whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine. You can just sneak past all the guards. No one gives a shit.
Oh, here's a change from the first game. All the animations in the cutscenes were mocap, so that was a man. This is also a man, most likely.
That's slightly creepy. But what I was going to say is clearly she used that invisibility power that she sort of had in Sonic 06, eh?
Sure, I made the comparison, so I think it's only fair that you can as well. No, Sonic did not write all the equations on the wall. That'll be answered later in the game, funnily enough.
Where is it now?
No, well, he might have had to do something while he was being tortured for months.
Here, Pi is like, I don't know maths, gotta go fast.
Yeah, you are seeing the HD models here as well, which the difference between these and the Dreamcast ones is not quite as jarring as between like SA1 and SATX, but there's still a few differences that stand out, like Sonic's quills, I seem to recall them being more bent over in the Dreamcast one.
Yeah, a little bit.
And like little things like that, and like I think the lighting on the models is a bit different as well. Like on the Dreamcast one it was a little bit more pronounced, whereas here it's more of the sort of colour-driven modelling.
Yeah, so let's just say SO2 fared better in regards to the HD conversion. A few nitpicks here and there, but at least they're not like fully shiny and whatnot. This is the level where you would originally get the Lightspeed dash, but since Flame has already got it, he's going to be skipping that part entirely, and this playthrough is just a fucking sham at this point.
Yeah, see, like I did the same fucking thing in Unleashed, and you didn't bitch then.
Well, you know, that was over a year ago. Now, don't expect many more like Sonic playthrough redos after this. The only other one I think needs like a new coat of paint and one is Black Knight, because I feel that's definitely showing its age.
Yeah, Rich and I need to inject some correct opinions into that game.
Oh,
so
fuck right off. This is my channel, thank you very much, and I will be the correct one at the end of the day. Because even if you say something positive, I can make it say Black Knight sucks complete balls.
Yeah, well, no, it's alright, because you'll just have this massive dead air space, won't you? And everyone will know. But yes, this is like the only difficult part in fucking Metal Harbor. Like, if you're going for the top route, which I am here, and yeah, this is going to be a very close call.
Wow, I never actually achieved this, so I finally have to give you props, Flame. Minus 10 seconds, 0.10 even.
That's impressive.
Like, I think I've done this maybe 3 times in my life, and like, once was actually when I did my really old Dreamcast run, and I got it first take by sheer fucking accident, and that's a moment I will never replicate again in my life.
Good luck getting these bubble capsules, by the way, just don't bother.
Yeah, now, interesting little thing I found out about this level is that in the Dreamcast version, because there's that section on the board at the end, this is programmed to recognise it as a boarding level, like City Escape. And there's a debug mode that got left in the Dreamcast version, where if you have a second controller plugged in and you hold down Y, I think it's Y, on that controller, then it just kind of puts Sonic on the board in the middle of the level, and it's kind of amusing to see that happen.
Oh, that's like one of the optional missions in Generations, like when you're boarding through Spagonia.
That's so fucking funny.
Iconic as fuck, mate. I mean, granted, Jun Tsunoi didn't mix the audio very well, so they're talking over each other and whatnot, but I think he just handled the musical side of things. I can't really blame him for that.
Yeah, like, Sonari was in charge of the music direction. I forget exactly who was in charge of the voice direction, but I know that was like a big internal shit show. Of the guys who were handling the English dub of it were still being directed by people who didn't speak English very well.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And that's how come, like, all the little quirks, like the one that we'll obviously see later, the most infamous one, the Terrier sort of thing, that came about from the Japanese directors insisting that they read the script word for word. When you would imagine that, like, you see Terrier in the script and you... yeah, but, like, you would think with that, you'd think, oh, that they just want me to scream. And so that's what they did in the first take, but that got rejected because they wanted them to read Terrier out like that.
And people wonder why we say Sega has never really had its shit together. Whatever, our first timed level of the game, there are more variants of this, like finding like Chaos Emeralds with Rouge and Darkside and so on, but
oh, that one gives me nightmares.
this level is great, and I think Shadow's version is not as great but still good, but I mostly remember this music track in particular from like the loading screens in VGCW when Bazza was running the show right at the start.
Oh, well, I don't think I ever got around to watching that for that much, but I remember there was a phase of that being all I would see on Twitter all the fucking time. So
yeah, it was pretty hype back in the day. But whatever. What do you think of these timed levels, Flame? Are you put off? Like, does it make your anxiety kick in, or do you rise to the occasion?
Well, I really have to struggle and rush my way through to beat this level in 8 minutes, you know, like, it's a real test of my skill. Like, no, there is no way you could possibly fucking fail this. Like, even on my first playthrough when I was, like, about maybe 6 or so, like, I still fucking beat this, no issue.
You were exceptional from a young age, then.
Yep, exceptional is absolutely the word I would use.
I have to say, this level in particular highlights the physics and momentum change from the first game, because Sonic always had a good bit of weight to him in SA1, despite whatever people might say about that game's controls. I feel Sonic handled pretty well in a 3D space. Here, I don't think it's as fluid. In fact, it might be too fluid, because he's bopping and weaving all over the place on like straightaways and whatnot.
Well, this is the game where the level design became a lot more linear.
Yeah.
Because, like, one thing that I can say in favour of SA1 is that, like, there's an intended route, but there's often a lot of ways you can skip things by a clever use of the spin dash, which really isn't the case here.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot more like you go where the game wants you to go. And, like, although I really like these levels, and obviously I prefer this game overall, I can see where people are coming from when they say that, like, they prefer Sonic stages in SA1.
Well, it's not like it matters. We're done with the level now. We shall leave the giant dragonflies behind and exit. You can die here, by the way, so be very careful.
Yes, you can. I remember dying numerous times to this bit and getting really frustrated.
God, how many... Oh, you... It doesn't even drop into the pit. I never knew that. Because every time I tried to, like, jump off a falling platform, I end up going into the drink.
Yes, same.
No, I thought I would take the safe route there just because the rest of that run had been pretty good, so, you know, I wasn't going to gamble that on jumping ahead of time.
Don't worry, by the way, if you think we're skipping the Chowgon stuff, that's getting its own part.
Yes, and that's going to be delightfully adorable.
God, that model there just looks so out of place compared to the CG animation.
Well, I guess fuck all the animals and whatnot on that island in particular. Everyone's dead now.
Yes, of course. Need to murder everybody.
Oh my god, Pumpkin Hill. Richie, do me a favour and bring up the lyrics page for Down in Pumpkin Hill or whatever it's called.
Ghost Pumpkin Soup, I think it's called.
Well, I see no soup. I see pumpkins and I see ghosts. Okay, Richie, fire off a rap for us, please, mate.
Well, you know, it's not going to be actual rapping, but you know me, the fighting freak Knuckled, and we're at Pumpkin Hill, you ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me, I'm just gonna creep. Down in Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I can sense it in my feet. The Great Emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head because I have no fear. This probably seems crazy. A graveyard theory. A ghost tried to approach me and got leery.
This is like the most white people thing I have heard in forever.
Yes, asked him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys crying pumpkin in the alley.
Pumpkin!
Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back 'em up with the fist metal crack 'em. I'm hearing someone saying, "You're a chicken, don't be scared." It had to be the wind because nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall, and then I started to fly. I went in deeper. Let it get to me, I'm just going to creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece, etc, etc, etc.
Fucking Christ, the most iconic
God.
Knuckles level and rap in the game, I believe. Didn't that dude go to jail?
Yes.
Yes, Honey P did go to jail for a brief while for illegal gun ownership. And yeah, that's the thing that you probably shouldn't do, folks.
Don't do that. Don't appear on an FDCR live stream as well. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that stream was great. Honey P is fucking amazing as a personality. I don't even care.
He's on another level to us plebs. Like, I couldn't comprehend the shit coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I remember at one point he was saying like when he was brought into the studio and he was talking about, oh, I had all these Japanese people in like coats and shit watching me, and I felt like I was being experimented on or something like that. Like, dude, come on.
Alright, let's just fumble our way looking for this particular piece, and that'll do it for the first part of SA2 Battle HD. And guys, don't be scared, just cry pumpkin in the alley, and maybe play SA1 instead if you want better programmed emerald hunting levels and whatnot. No, fuck you, Flame. We ain't done with this playthrough yet. We'll see you next time for another part of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle HD. Bye-bye.
Yeah, this is perfect.
SA1's better.